And I'm David. We're here to talk about Big Brother Over the Top.
Finale!
It's the finale. It's all over.
You guys, it's over. What a good season.
We've had so many months of Big Brother. It has been awesome.
We've had like half a year of Big Brother.
Straight. Yeah. It's been really great.
It's been crazy. Okay, well, so this is our reaction video to the finale. So everything is a spoiler if you haven't seen the finale.
Yes, we just watched it. So we're spoiling all of it.
This is it, yeah. Morgan wins!
I'm shocked. I'm not upset. I wanted her to win. I thought Jason should win. I thought he played the best game, but I wanted Morgan to win because I liked her better. But I was still shocked that she actually won.
So shocked. Let's start back a little bit though, before we get to the finale.
Yes. 36 hours earlier or whatever that,
right.
tool is they use
last
on TV.
week,
hashtag
but first, Jason won the final HOH. He won to get himself guaranteed final 3.
And then, as like a little twist, he gets to pick one person to bring with him. And they just get a free ride into the final 3, so he picks Chrissy.
Of course he picks Chrissy.
Because they're ride or dies.
Chrissy hasn't done anything all season.
And he knows he can beat her handily.
And she's the worst player maybe in the history of the game.
Yeah.
I don't understand why some people have been giving her credit this last few days. I give her no credit. She threw tantrums, she cried, she tried to quit so many times. She did quit that one competition. So obviously Jason's gonna choose her to go to the finals.
Yes. So then Justin and Morgan have to face off in the final head-to-head competition, and whoever wins goes, whoever loses out the door.
Yes.
And it was pretty neck and neck. It was like half physical, half mental, but Morgan had the edge.
It was that one that Nicole and James had to do where they were running down the maze.
Yes.
Which makes a difference because remember, like James couldn't get through the maze. He started to slow down, and you knew that they were going to slow down with this maze, especially with Justin. You know, he doesn't breathe all that well.
Yeah.
Which Morgan said she also has asthma, but like I don't see it affecting her as much.
No, she seemed to be pretty consistent throughout. But she won, and so Justin went home and Morgan won her way into the final 3.
There was no way Justin was going to win if it had anything to do with days or winners or events that you had to remember, which of course that was going to be in the competition because it's Big Brother.
Yeah, right.
That's what they do.
I was just annoyed with Justin during that competition because during his, diary sessions, he was just commenting about he doesn't know anything about the days. I'm like, that just shows like sort of a lack of respect for this game because everybody who is a Big Brother fan knows that memorizing days and events is a huge part of this game and you need to know that stuff to win your way to the final 3.
But I think he knew that. I think he has a memory problem. I think it was hard for him because he did try. I don't know, it's hard to tell with him because sometimes it looked like he would try and then sometimes it looked like he didn't care.
Yeah.
But I also think he puts on the I don't care because he has a hard time learning or memory.
Okay, well if that's the case then
I don't know, I might be giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, regardless, Morgan wins.
Morgan was gonna win. So final 3 is Morgan, Jason, and Chrissy. And personal opinion, I thought that was a really good final 3 for the season.
Totally.
Yes, there were definitely stronger players, but as we've accounted over these videos, the house was able to get them out.
Yeah.
So I feel like Morgan and Jason are pretty even players. They're both smart, they're both strategic, they both win when they need to, but they don't win them all.
Right.
And I felt like it really was a good representation of the two sides of the house.
Absolutely. It was great to have at least one person from each side of the house. I was really glad that Morgan made it there because that represents people like Alex, people like Shelby, people like Scott. Just to have somebody be the face of that side of the house, which was half of the house all season, I think was really important for the finale.
A good chunk of America was supporting them and voting for them and rooting for them. And so to have a representation in the finale, I thought was great.
And, to your point of maybe there were stronger players on that side of the house and they got evicted earlier. And yes, I agree. Like, I think Shelby was a stronger player. But at the end of the day, Morgan's the one in the finale. So her strategy worked better.
Why? Because Morgan didn't seem like a threat. Shelby went out the door because Jason was threatened by her.
Yeah,
didn't like her.
She won too many comps. She was too smart.
She was brassy and,
There's something to be said for Morgan's strategy, you know?
Exactly.
And she admitted that in her speech, that her strategy was to be a non-threat. And she realized that maybe isn't a strategy that's going to win over America or Big Brother fans. But the fact is that it got her to the final 3. And it's a very different strategy from Jason's, but it has its own merits.
But I also want to point out, because obviously I'm reading everything online because I'm obsessed with this game.
Yes.
And there was talk about Chrissy and Morgan being fairly even. And I just cannot wrap my head around that.
No.
Even like we're talking about Morgan being a non-threat and just sort of getting by. Chrissy was not playing.
Yeah.
Morgan was still in the conversations with Alex and Shelby. Yes, Alex and Shelby kind of drove and had some great strategic things to throw out there, but Morgan wasn't just sitting there and nodding along. She was debating. She was talking through it all. She was making decisions, and that was just a different vibe than Chrissy, who the one time she was HOH and could make decisions just threw a fit about how it's her HOH and people need to listen to her.
Yeah.
But she wasn't throwing anything out. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just couldn't see it.
And I will say, watching all 3 of the final speeches that everyone gave, I was really surprised at how well Chrissy did.
Yeah.
She really was able to make a strong case for herself and make it seem... It wasn't
accurate.
Right. She made it seem like her non-gameplay was gameplay.
Right.
That she threw certain competitions strategically, and it's like, we don't know if that's true. She can say I threw it on purpose, but we don't know because she didn't do any cam talking to America to tell us that along the way, did she?
There was one competition that she admitted at that time that she threw.
Okay.
But that was it, one time.
Yeah. So it just...
It wasn't like she was doing it the whole season.
You know, it was like, when that speech finished, I was like, whoa, wait, is Chrissy actually good at this? And then I was like, nope.
No.
I don't believe it.
She made it sound like she was playing the game the whole time, but I disagree. And then to that point, Morgan's speech made her sound worse than I thought she was.
Yeah.
I give Morgan way more credit than she gave herself. According to her speech.
Yeah. The one thing I wish about Morgan is she would have saved the sister twist reveal for that speech.
Oh, that would have been so great.
I think that would have taken her speech to the next level. And I totally get it why she revealed it when she did, because at that point, you know, there was nothing for her to lose. But I just wish that she could have saved it and said, like, I'm standing here in the final 3 and nobody in this room knows that I had a twist all season. I just think that would have really solidified her speech.
Absolutely. I was hoping for a big thing at finale of that. I was bummed that she revealed it too early. But I did love that Chrissy still was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah. Because Chrissy was so sure back in the day that Morgan was lying to her and feeding her, you know, some strategy thing.
Her face was priceless. Yeah. And of course, Jason was genuinely like, what?
Yeah.
I missed this, and whoa, what a good twist.
Yeah. And he was like, I've been in a season of Big Brother with sisters before and I didn't figure this out again.
Yeah. Like, he was onto it, but he just did not put it together.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to give her credit for that. You've got to give Morgan and Alex both credit for that. Yeah. We all know how hard it is to play Big Brother, but to play and be constantly terrified that someone's gonna figure out your twist, you have got to give Morgan points for that.
Totally. And the fact that they were in an alliance together. So they're always together. People are always seeing them side by side. Like, Morgan said that they came into the house wanting to be in different alliances. I think that would have been easier for them to keep their secret, but the fact that they were in the same alliance made it even harder for them not to reveal it.
So I have to say, when it came down to this final 3, and I was trying to figure out who I was going to vote for, I ended up voting for Morgan. And nothing against Jason, because I still enjoy him.
Yeah.
I was excited he was on this season. I think he did a much better job this season than his last season.
100%.
He was on his game. He was smart. He was strategic. He was running his alliance. But I think it was the sister twist. Because I do think that also Morgan played a good game. I thought that she was smart and strategic, but she also had a twist. And for me, that was just the final little bump.
Yeah.
That I just feel like she deserved way more credit for than anyone was talking about.
Yeah. And it turns out, as we all saw, the vote was unbelievably close.
So close, you guys.
It went back and forth between the two of them.
So when Julia sang that at the finale, it went back and forth, I'm like, I know. I mean, I saw online that it was so close, but like now they're hearing how close it was, because let's also remember Jason was like, Morgan is an easy person to take to the final because no one's gonna like her.
Yeah.
But he didn't know about the twist and all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
But that's to her credit, you guys.
Yep.
The fact that they're hearing how close it was, and then it comes down to less than 20,000 votes, which means because we each got 40 votes, 20 a day. That's really 500 people of a difference.
Yeah.
That's
so
close, you guys.
Close.
So close.
Yeah.
Yay, America!
I know.
Look what we did!
It's sort of like a metaphor for how clearly divided the House was all season. And America was voting along those lines, you know? Like, it was really almost exactly half and half, which makes for such a good season, I think, to have two people who are equally loved in the finale and there's not a super obvious winner. Yes. That makes things so much more exciting.
That makes it so exciting. And, you know, we saw America through the season really protect Jason.
Yeah.
We had his back. We saved him. He's definitely in the finale in part because of us.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
But because so many people sort of rised up to the occasion for Jason, that pushes other people to rise up against that. That's just kind of human nature and how we work. It's interesting that it was evenly split.
Yeah.
For and against Jason.
Yeah. Exciting though. I mean, I think I'm always happy to see a female winner. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Thrilled to see Morgan win in that regard. It's great to see female winners back to back on Big Brother.
You guys, wow.
You know, like things are happening for women on Big Brother, which is great. But I also think it's nice, and we've talked about this off camera as well, that it wasn't two vets back to back. You know, because Nicole just won Big Brother, and then if Jason wins, do we just go on this thing where it's like, oh, well, if you get a second chance, you're automatically going to win Big Brother? No, it turns out, you know, Morgan was able to beat Jason.
If that means anything to anybody.
Tell us in the comments if it means something to you.
So overall, we really liked this Over the Top.
Yes, I think it was a really great experiment for CBS to do. I think that they can take some things from this season and integrate them into the regular show.
Right.
I just thought it was a really fun way to do Big Brother. And I was not a super big fan at first of America's involvement, but I think that added an extra layer that ended up being really interesting towards the end.
Yeah, there were plenty of people who were not happy with America's involvement, and it definitely bordered on too much.
Yeah.
I personally got on board with it and was fine and just sort of accepted that this is a different game than the summer Big Brother.
Right.
This game has America as a house
player.
guest.
Exactly.
So I'm okay with that. And I bet over the summer for BB19, they will definitely add some more America elements.
Yeah.
Because this was fairly successful. So it'll be interesting to see what they pull from this.
Yeah.
I definitely hope they do a season 2 of this, though.
Me too.
I feel like this overall was very successful.
Yeah. I just hope they don't move Big Brother entirely digital, because I do love watching it in the summer. It's so fun
No,
to
they'll
watch
never
on
do
TV.
that.
Good.
Oh, yeah. That's way bigger, right? Bigger budgets. It's on network.
Yeah.
They'll keep that for sure.
Yeah.
But they should definitely keep this digital series. They should make it easier for us to watch, though, online. They should make it easier to find the recaps and the, you know, the flashback feature. All of that needs to be dialed in and
streamlined a little bit.
Yeah, but keep it coming.
Yes, please. The more Big Brother, the better.
You guys, what do we have? Like 4 or 5 months before the next season starts?
Now it feels like an eternity.
We're gonna hibernate, take a long winter's nap until next summer.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought about this season. I mean, first off, thank you so much for like watching with us and talking and chatting with us, because really this is all I want to talk about ever.
Right, and we hope you had as much fun as we did.
Yes.
And let us know what you thought of the winner in the comments.
Were you as shocked as we were?
Yeah.
Did you go, what?
And I guess we'll see you for the next season of Big Brother next summer.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Bye.